I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
Yes or no? Did you ever take banned substances to enhance your cycling performance?
Yes.
I had no prior knowledge of the planned assault on Nancy Kerrigan.
I am deeply sorry for my irresponsible and selfish behavior I engaged in.
Hello and welcome to Oops, the podcast. I am Francis Ellis, and I'm joined by my co-host, Giulio Gallerati. Hello, Giulio.
What's up, dude?
I want to say a warm welcome to all of our new listeners who seem to be flooding in.
Dude, it's the best.
As if we've opened some sort of aid station in a war-torn country, and they're finding refuge and rice bags among us.
I love that.
Big bags of rice from the UN aid drop.
They've just been flying out of the sky.
We're flush with lean protein and complex carbohydrates. We are so excited to have you and get into it here. Lots to talk about, lots to unpack on a new episode of Oops, the podcast.
Oh, yeah.
G, I got a question for you.
Okay.
Have you ever had or been a bad neighbor?
Oh, wow. I don't think, dude, like I haven't really been in a position to be one. So I honestly no.
Must be nice.
No, I'm serious. And I know that's true.
Yeah,
but
typically there were multiple acres of buffer between me and the neighboring adjacent abode.
I've never been a bad neighbor, actually.
No?
What about you?
No, I don't think, well, I've had the occasional noise complaint from when I had a group of people over, a party or whatever that went a little too long. But I was always pretty responsive, and I've never had the cops called. It was always just a neighbor I liked being like, hey, would you do us a favor and kind of shut it down or whatever. And I think that just comes being in your 20s and living in New York City, stacked on top of each other.
Yeah.
But there is right now, in our current apartment, our neighbors, they have I think their kitchen backs up to our bedroom. So the wall that separates my bedroom is, it's between our bedroom and their kitchen. So what the problem is that, our headboard is up against the wall that separates it. In the mornings, when they open their drawers in the kitchen and shut the drawers and all that, the utensils clang and clatter, it feels like they're shutting the drawers inside of my head. Dude, it's so pronounced and so percussive.
Dude.
And I really like these people. And there's no reason for them to know that they are doing something that is unneighborly.
Yeah,
right?
they have no idea.
They're just brewing up some fucking,
That's a tough
porridge or whatever it is.
That's a tough one.
That's all they're doing. They're having breakfast at 7:30 in the morning, right?
It's tough.
And I wake up early. I mean, I don't. Most days I'm probably up around the same time, so it's not a problem. But on the rare day when I want to sleep until 8:15, I can't because there are drawers shutting inside my brain. How do I ask them to close the drawers more gently? Can I bring this up?
I don't know, dude. I guess you could maybe. It's just, dude, this is the problem with living in New York in an apartment is that like inevitably you run into these problems, Yeah. Like right now, dude, literally a week after we moved in, we got a letter under our door from our neighbor that he's redoing his bathroom, which is like the same situation, but to our living room.
Do the noise. That's it. We all know. If you don't know what that noise is, the drill bit.
Dude, it's the worst
drill, the boring
noise ever. And dude, across the street from our bedroom, full scaffolding set up.
Oh boy.
So like, it's just noise everywhere we look. Now, granted, that's more common. Like we all kind of here are used to the scaffolding noise at some place in our apartment, whatever, potentially. And the neighbors, it's not that bad because it's not all day. Some points during the day, it's right next to us. Other times it's not. Ultimately, it's not a big deal. Your problem is a very unique one and a hard one to address, dude, because what are they supposed to do? Like you should complain to the developer for being idiots and putting a kitchen next to a bedroom.
Well, you ever see those drawers that close most of the way, and then right before they get to the
they
shut,
ease?
they ease in. Oh, even the touch of that feels nice.
Dude, it sounds like you've considered maybe offering to put those in for them.
Oh God, no, I wouldn't go that far.
Would you not?
No, I would. First, I would say, guys, could you kind of finish the drawer close with a finger roll? Sort of instead of the hard bank dunk that you're currently closing the utensils with.
Why do you close the drawers like you're in a fight with your significant other?
Yeah, what is that? Who pissed you off right before you had to put take out a fork?
It's slam the door, not slam the drawer.
No.
Okay. Slide that under their fucking
Give
door,
that
dude.
joke a B.
It was pretty good.
Yeah, not terrible.
An A for thought of on the spot jokes.
Sure.
Which
sure.
we were talking about this earlier, niche rankings.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I see them and I always say a warm hello, and they have a very young child and they're very sweet people. So I think I could mention this to them without them thinking that I was coming at them,
Yeah. You're pretty good at that.
Mm.
I mean, dude, listen, it's worth for a guy like you who you really become high maintenance about sleep
Sure have.
over the past few years. I think we can all agree on that.
Yeah, I think we can.
It could be worth it for you to at least approach that.
I will. I will do that. You've talked me into it.
You can do it delicately. And dude, listen, it's just one of those things. I don't think it's a big deal.
Mm. Hey, really quick, by the way, a number of episodes ago, I talked about the sleep ambient noise machine that we use, and I didn't mention the name because we don't like to give free advertisements away. But so many people DM'd me asking for the model that I'm just gonna fucking say it. It is the Dome DOHM sleep machine. That's the one I like. It's like $45 on Amazon. I don't know. I don't know what else to say. That's the one I use if you're looking for some way to muffle or blend the sound of your boyfriend's sleep apnea or the scaffolding stomp crew training outside your window. Try this Dome sleep machine.
Dude, isn't it funny how problematic children are for noise? I don't know why they think it's cool to heel run.
They sure do.
Dude, the family who lives above us, they must have children because it's 7 a.m. I just hear boom, 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 healing.
Yeah.
It's like, stop healing. I'm going to fucking do nothing.
It's like they're
I'm going to do nothing.
It's like they're marking out the lines of a soccer field on the beach.
Dude, what the hell?
You know how you used your heels to do that? You would drag out the lines?
Yes.
It's a little bit like that.
It's exactly like
I'm going to give that joke a C-. I'm going to give myself a C- for that joke.
It is true, though.
Yeah.
Dude, that's like when a comedian says something that doesn't get a laugh, and then they're like, that's not even a joke. It's just true.
Yeah.
That's a very common
you were
comedic
joking,
saying.
you bum.
You were joking, pal.
Yeah.
Dude, speaking of, we have a member of the family back in the house.
Mr. K.
Mr. K is back.
Mr. Kojai is back among us.
Thank
You
God.
guys asked me before we started what it was like when he returned. Kojai, our dog, had been away for 10 days or so. And I would say this. When he came back through the door with my girlfriend, it felt like I was the dog and he was the military,
You're just like,
active military serviceman who had returned home. I was immediately on the floor foaming at the mouth with excitement. He came over to me and gave me big hugs. And all we needed was someone to film him wearing his fatigues.
and then he just stared off into the distance thinking they'll never understand.
They'll
what I've
never
been through.
understand, and I hope they don't ask me about it. Some things are meant to stay buried.
Kojai just waking up in the middle of the night with cold sweats. Poor guy.
Oh.
Dude, so I remember something. Back to children.
Yes.
They're just fucking loud, dude. And for the first, 10 years of their lives at least, they're just loud and can't help it.
Mhm.
I just don't know where I came up with that statistic.
No, you're right. They
But
have
they're
no
just fucking
volume
loud.
control.
They have no volume control.
Yeah.
And one time I encountered something very funny. So obviously we all hate sleeping or sitting next to a baby on a flight because inevitably at some time during that flight at a point that's completely not advantageous to you, they start wailing
Mhm.
and fuck your shit up. They're also underratedly loud. Like they don't have volume control.
None.
Toddlers, babies, they're just fucking loud. Anyway, I was on a flight. I was flying to Azerbaijan,
Mm-hmm.
and I hear a baby start crying.
Uh-oh.
And it was really funny how the parents handled it. This is one cry, two cry, and right before the third cry could come out, I just hear,
Oh, they're muffling
the
him?
parents just decided to silence the
They
child.
muzzled the kid?
They muzzled the child. I don't know how. I don't know if they put a blanket in its mouth or they
Ball
covered its
gag.
mouth. I was like, this is fucking tough parenting here. So anyway, yeah,
Wow.
it can be done.
That's one of those things where I feel like if they do that in a supermarket, they get child protective services coming down on them. But on an airplane, they get a standing ovation. Everyone's so grateful that the parents are willing to just
Dude.
take medieval methods.
Truly, bro.
I got a lot to talk to you about, dude.
Cool.
This is I'm glad you're here because I just need to unload a little bit.
Dude, please unload.
All right. So here
Unload all over me,
Here
bro.
is something I want to talk to you about. My girlfriend got asked to be a bridesmaid in a wedding of a very dear friend of hers.
Dude, I'm very happy you brought this up. I have a piggyback topic. This is
Good.
great. I love when we have parallel thinking.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Sorry.
So I've been asked to be a groomsman in a handful of weddings, and I'm very honored. And I get asked to be a groomsman via email or text. And my buddies will be very sweet about it. They'll say, I want you up there with me on my big day, whatever it is. It's nice.
It's nice.
My girlfriend received in the mail a personalized box that had her name on it, inside of which was a bottle of champagne, a beautiful lip gloss from Yves Saint Laurent,
Oh, God.
which is the correct pronunciation, YSL.
I love Francis being that guy.
There were, there must have been,
Where's
I don't
your
know.
friend Isabelle?
Yeah. Yeah.
What about Marie-Claire?
I was visiting Paris.
Paris? Okay. continue.
And it would be a disservice to all the French education I had if I were to butcher the
you
pronunciation.
could just say YSL.
When
you
I
could,
know,
you could avoid.
why
you
would I
could
say
avoid
that?
it.
I want people to know that I know how to say it correctly. What is the point of having learned French if all this time I'm going to clip my wings for the sake of not offending people, with my perfect pronunciation?
Okay.
All of which is to say, inside of this box, there must have been 6 or 7 perfectly curated, beautiful, small gifts, sort of inside jokes, photographs, a framed photograph, all of this stuff. It was so personalized and so thoughtful and such an indication of the strength of their friendship, how far back they go, what a wonderful friend. It just made me feel like guys don't give a fuck about each other. And it bummed me out, dude.
Really?
Do you know how sick it would be if you asked me to be your groomsman and you sent me a box inside of which was like an eighth of weed, a fucking portrait of the two of us, a handwritten card, a bottle of Jameson, whatever it
An
is.
exact mold of my erect penis.
yeah. A Giulio pocket ass. Just
Dude, here it is, bro.
yeah. I wish we could do stuff like that. But if we did, we'd all, we'd be like, what the hell, dude? Chill out. Man, it was amazing. I mean, women really honor each other.
Yeah. Hillary got, by the way, almost same exact thing.
They honor each other and they
It's a girl
honor
thing.
what they mean to each other. And I was jealous. I was jealous of it. Who doesn't like a mixed bag of gifts?
Goodie bags are great.
Just to be asked to be someone's bridesmaid or groomsman?
It's nice. It's
Now,
very nice.
I will say, the thing that is sort of the tit for tat of this, for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. I know that when you ask someone to be a bridesmaid, there is a lot of expense that accompanies that.
Well, with groomsmen, there is too, right? But more
Much
for
less
brides,
so.
right? Okay,
Much
fine.
less so. Dude, the dresses that bridesmaids have to purchase are often quite expensive.
Mhm.
There's always, hair and makeup costs, I think. Maybe sometimes the bride pays for that. But I just know that in general, bridesmaids, if you're a woman in the wedding party, it's much more expensive than, dude, for me, it's like tux, and I'm wearing the same tux. It's a dry cleaning cost. That's it.
Yeah.
But by the way, I did get asked by a very dear friend of mine to be in his wedding, and I'm very honored. He may even listen to the pod. He laid out for us the outfit requirements on the day. The only thing that kind of stood out to me, which I thought was a little odd, but I think is catching on, was it needs to be black dress shoes, right? With our tuxedos. No socks.
Oh, interesting. That's very festive.
What is that about?
I don't know.
I am going to destroy these shoes. My feet, it's July. The wedding's July.
Yeah.
I'm going to be sweating.
You got to break them in, dude. You might have to get some like all-purpose shoes for this.
Am I allowed to wear those stupid little ankle no-show socks?
I think so, yeah.
Those things are always slipping down
Well,
below
no, dude,
halfway to my feet.
You need to get the one with the little gel on the back of the heel.
I've tried those, buddy. Those gel things don't hold on for shit. That's
Dude,
all just a gimmick.
I have a pair for you.
Come on.
I'm serious. I've discovered a pair that works. Maybe it won't work for you. Maybe you're like a foot sweater.
I am torrential sort of rainforest foot swamp situation, especially once I get dancing. Those things are not, those little gel grippers. Yeah, they're not going to be holding on to my Achilles. There's no purchase. There's no purchase.
I mean, dude, I don't know. You got to figure it out though. I would recommend a sort of utility shoe.
Yeah.
That can that's like sporty yet dressy.
It is amazing how men's fashion evolves though, don't you think? Because 10 years ago, the thought of wearing a suit with no socks on would have been abhorrent. I don't know how that would have even nobody would have said that, right? Because we used to wear suits and dress pants when I was 18 to 24-year-old. There would be a break in the pant.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
It would fall over your shoe and there'd be a crease.
So it would kind of, yeah.
Now, the men's pant has gotten higher and higher and higher up the shin to the point where
it's like a capri.
I guess you can't wear socks because there's so much leg showing. Isn't that odd?
It's interesting.
Do you have any suit pants or pants that show a lot of shin bone?
Like, dude, I've always wondered about that because sometimes I'm like, are these pants? Because then you're sitting down and you have it's like you have shorts on. They jack all the way up.
Sure is.
But at the same time, you don't want like a bunched up bottom of your pant leg on your shoe either.
Nobody does anymore.
So you just need to have it tailored well, dude. As Brent would say, it's all about the fit. It's all about the fit. It's all about the fit.
All
Classic
about
Brent.
the fit.
Dude, so Hillary, it's interesting we're talking about weddings. Hillary's getting all her invitations and stuff too. Also, anything she's been a bridesmaid for, she's getting these, like you said, champagne bottle, like a nice little fucking goodie bag. I didn't have the same reaction to it that you did, but I was impressed by it. Regardless.
What was your reaction?
Oh, that's nice. Like, I don't know.
Indifferent. Didn't move the needle for you at all?
No.
But you didn't feel a little bit of jealousy?
No.
Dude,
whatever. I get certain, I'm not trying to act like I don't get jealous about things. I too can get triggered in unusual ways. That happens to not be one of them. This isn't a competition. What I will say though is how many weddings is too many weddings when they're not your wedding? So for example, like everybody in the fucking who she's ever laid eyes on seems to be getting married in the next, 9 months.
So you want to know what the cap is for 1 year?
So yeah, so it's like how many things am I expected to go to? It's like because the way that she does things is different than the way I do things. So there is no tit for tat. If she's like, "Hey, can we get drinks with this couple?" I go, but I don't do that to her. Like that's not the way that I connect with my friends. Like, let's get couples drinks or dinner or whatever. Again, it's fine. I'm happy to do it when I have time, all this stuff, whatever. But I'm starting to wonder, like, is there some kind of reasonable cap where like, I'm like, okay, that's enough weddings. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I think you're asking a couple different questions here, and I have a couple different answers. So let's start with the wedding question, which is how many weddings? What's the limit? What's the reasonable limit? The answer is kind of whatever number you're still having fun at, right? And you won't know what that is until you've maxed out a season. I have a friend who did 15 weddings in like a 6-month span. But
were they people that he knew?
They were, but there were certainly a number in there that he could have said, I can't make it, and those people wouldn't have been offended. These were not diehard close friends who would have been offended that he wouldn't have even needed to give a reason for why he couldn't have made it.
Right.
But he accepted and went. And I think the reason is he loves going to weddings, which brings me to my next point. If you can sort of incept yourself, change your mindset on weddings from this is a chore, this is expensive, I would rather be doing something else with my weekend too. This is a well set up vacation weekend for me and my girlfriend. We are going to stay in a hotel, which is fun. A lot of the meals are going to be free. The festivities, there's a band. It's like going to a combo of a concert and a feast. And all we have to really do is pay for flights and whatever else. If you can frame it that way and enjoy yourself, then the number of weddings you'll be willing to tolerate more.
True. And I think there's certain things that come into play that make it better or worse. Like you said, it can be really nice. It's like well structured. If there's people that I know there, that's fun. If it is a place that I'm not that familiar with or that I've never been to, great. But then there's things that are big downers for me. Black tie.
Yeah.
I hate that. I don't want to be into fucking tux.
No.
I know that you don't mind and you look good and whatever. And like, who knows? Maybe I'll learn to love it. But like the idea of having to get dressed up in a tux in the summer, it makes me want to fucking shoot myself in the head to go celebrate people I don't know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like whatever. But having said that, maybe it's a local wedding. You know what I mean? And listen, I could choose to not go to any of these, and I'm choosing to go to all of them.
Really?
Yeah.
You are accepting all.
So I wasn't invited to any. I am Hillary's +1 for all.
How many?
Right now there's 4 in the next 7 months.
Oh, that's not.
Is that nothing?
That's nothing, dude.
June, July, October, and then early next year.
Yeah, I think I have a July and August to September and October, and then
But how many of these are your friends?
Well, 3 are mine. 1 is my sister.
Okay.
But 1 is my sister. 3 are my friends, and then 1 is her friend.
Okay.
The problem for me, unfortunately, in being almost 3 years older than my girlfriend, is that we're going to go to so many of my weddings. I'm then going to be tired of going to weddings.
And then
all of her weddings are going to start.
Yes.
And then I'm going to be miserable.
Totally.
I so wish it were the other way around. Listen, dude, you got to pick and choose. Fuck, man. The obvious answer is any wedding that either of you are in, you've got to go to, of course.
Yeah.
Okay. And then it all depends on how willing is Hillary to accept from you I can't make this one.
I think she's pretty willing. You know what I mean? And I need to stop like accepting and then pout and then like being a little fucking pouty bitch about it. I need to either accept and have fun or say no, as opposed to being like, yeah, I mean, like, fucking wedding.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I need to not do that. That's not a good way to do it.
I agree. Have I ever explained to you my friend's whole theory, the way that he sort of assigns a score about whether or not he thinks he should go to a wedding?
No, this is great.
He's got a full-on equation for this. All right, so I didn't manage to get it from him, but I have a pretty good memory of the different criteria. So there's like 3 or 4 main points that he says that you should use to consider whether or not you should go to the wedding. The first one is, how much do you like the couple? Okay. Meaning, how excited are you for them to get married? Do you like them? Obviously, like that's a big piece, right? Yeah. And I think you answer each one of these questions on like a yes or no. And if you get 3 out of 5 yeses, you should go.
Got it.
But if it's only 2 out of 5 or less, you don't need to go.
Okay.
So it's like, are you excited for this couple to get married? Yes, right? Number 1. That's 1. The next one is, do you think that the wedding is going to be sick? Is it in an awesome location? Is the couple rolling out the red carpet? Is there going to be an amazing band? Right. Are the accommodations amazing? Whatever, all of that. Yes, right? That's your 2 out of 5 right there. I think the next one is, Are you worried that by saying no, you will ruin a friendship? Will it affect a friendship? And if the answer to that is yes, you've got your 3 out of 5. Is it a friendship you care about, right? He did read my text, so he should be getting back to me. I feel like there's 2 more categories. Anyway, so I'll get the rest of those categories out in a second. But the point is, there are ways for you to kind of quantify whether or not you want to go. And it is a huge commitment. I mean, it's thousands of dollars typically.
And dude, like, let's be real too. You know, comedy is back, and it's not back, but it's going to be back. And when it's back, this becomes much more of a difficult thing, because it's like, hey, can you go to a wedding on Wednesday? No one can. But like, nobody else works on the weekend. You know what I mean?
Who's inviting you?
Of course not. But I'm saying, my point is, we have to, like, the road can be a thing where we make a lot of money.
Well, that's the problem, because then you're saying, well, can you go to this wedding? And you say, well, then not only is the wedding costing me $1,000, it's actually costing me $3,000 because I'm losing the $2,000 I would make on the road.
Right.
And that's so brutal.
Dude, it's like not
and also
acceptable.
We typically are the only people in our friend groups, or our girlfriends' friends groups, who are comedians. So they don't really understand that.
And we're unique in that way, honestly. I feel a lot more comedians are like going to comedian weddings more regularly than they're going to like random, quote unquote, random ones.
I don't expect to get invited to a single comedian wedding.
I haven't been to many.
And I am perfectly at peace with that. Well, Giulio, if you're having a hard time getting up for a wedding, maybe you need a little something to perk you up. And I got the elixir for that, buddy. And it goes by the name of Brooklyn Roasting Company Coffee.
I'm rocking the tea, baby.
You're rocking the tea. They got great merch. I'm holding the Iris Espresso. This is my favorite blend. In the past weeks, I've showed some of the other ones they have, but this is actually my favorite blend. It's got berries, cocoa, fig, flowers, root beer, honey. Those are the tasting notes. They tell you all about it. I mean, honestly, the packaging, everything about this stuff is
it's delicious.
The gold standard of coffee.
It's great.
I love this coffee. I drink it every single morning.
Dude, let us not forget the fucking fire espresso martinis you brought down. I mean, you can just do it. You always forget how versatile coffee really is.
Bingo.
And dude, that was the beginning of a very enjoyable afternoon and evening. So,
Sure was. We turned it up.
Yep.
Thanks to our friends over at Brooklyn Roasting Company. Go to brooklynroasting.com. Use promo code OOPSBEANS, one word, and you will get 5% off of your first order. I think they have like a coffee of the month club, a subscription thing. You can also buy in bulk. I'm telling you, get this stuff. You're not going to stop drinking it. Find yourself a decent coffee maker and give Brooklyn Roasting Beans the vehicle it deserves to deliver that smooth, delicious coffee that we love so much. Oops Beans, brooklynroasting.com.
Love it, dude. Well, dude, speaking of which, as we're recording this, it is actually Chris's birthday today.
Hells
so
to
I
the
have a little gift for Chris.
So do I.
Lord White Claw, as I have dubbed myself, I present upon thee the variety pack, Chris. Happy birthday, bro. Lord White Claw. Claws are actually a high maintenance gift for someone now, especially because now Chris just needs to walk around with 12 White Claws for the rest of the day, which is kind of funny to me.
Thank you, but
you're welcome, dude. Chris is just gonna be walking around with claws.
Oh man, what the fuck? I was gonna ride a city bike after this.
Nope,
no,
not
I gotta
anymore. No, dude, you can put it on in the.
Oh, okay, yeah, I could do that.
And put the thing around it. But dude, that's funny. Like, just biking around with claws. You just look like
drinking them while I drive.
Yeah, drinking and driving, baby.
Yeah.
You're just gonna look like that guy, dude.
Oh,
I feel like we're giving like a little bit of softness and sophistication back to the White Claw community that it so desperately needs.
What are you doing, Francis? All right, he's tiptoeing around on his little tippy toes,
tiptoeing through the
like a little piano
store.
was playing as each finger or toe hit the floor.
I like this, Chris. This is your holiday poem.
Yeah.
Well, dude, enjoy the claws, man. I don't know what you got planned for
Thanks.
tonight, but hopefully you have some B-Day stuff happening, and you'll show up with some claws, and everyone will love you, dude.
Okay.
All
Now
right.
we have.
He's hiding it behind his back.
My side of the gift.
Francis.
Close your eyes.
All right, my eyes are closed.
Put your
you want me
hands
to put
out.
my hands out?
Yep,
Oh,
put your
God,
hands out.
this-
Close your eyes.
Oh, I gotta put this down.
You better. I bet you know what's coming.
Smell it.
Oh, a little Potsky Pansky, a little
I
wacky
smelt
tobacco.
it. Oh, baby.
Filling up Chris with all the substances on this big day.
Nice.
Yeah.
A quarter.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's the good stuff, man, right there. That's the main weed I love so much. That's a nice.
This is a nice jar. It looks like
Sativa.
a gin.
It's a sativa.
You know
Of course I
me.
know you, bro.
Oh,
Oh, we're about that pot life, bro.
Man, I'm gonna have a fucking good weekend, fellas.
You're gonna have a
Thank
good
you.
weekend, dude. No problem.
Chris is a virtuoso joint roller, by the way. If you ever end up hanging out with him, ask him to roll you a sweet
Ladies.
one.
Ladies.
That's the other thing. Chris is also a sex magnet. He's just a bear trap of waiting for anyone.
I feel like
who-
you're setting me up for a lot
Well,
here.
no, we want you.
Come
we want
on,
you to.
dude, no pressure, Chris.
The juices are flowing.
Drink a couple of claws, smoke a little
Swoop
weed.
in, ladies, before it's too late.
Yeah.
This guy.
Is going, gone.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. He's a high fly ball to deep left center, back, past the warning track.
At the track, at the wall.
Very nice.
Love it,
Happy
dude.
birthday, Chris. We love you, man. You are absolutely the heartbeat of this podcast, and we've said it many times. We are very lucky to have you.
Indeed.
Thank you so much for the presents. I appreciate it, boys.
Welcome,
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Love
Cool.
it. Love it.
We like to have a good time on the pod, and
Yeah.
we hope you guys do too. Anyway, back to the discussion.
Back to the discussion.
I got-
So,
yeah.
here's the thing. So I
Yeah.
guess we can put the wedding discussion to rest with this. It's funny because I had to cancel my Uzbekistan trip, which I haven't said on the podcast yet.
Yeah, I'm sorry
Um,
to hear that, dude.
It's okay. Things got complicated. I think there's a bunch of COVID in Turkey, and I was connecting through Turkey, and it's unclear if people who connect through Turkey have to quarantine, blah, blah, blah. So I was like, fuck it. This isn't worth it. By the way, Turkish Airlines is the best for getting your money back when you book a flight.
Really?
Yeah, dude,
I
literally,
would not have thought that.
I didn't have to fight at all. Of course, Mr. Giulio, we give you your money back
Wow.
immediately. So that was great. And I'm going to take another trip still. And I'm going to try to film it and stuff and make some cool videos.
So what is the amended itinerary?
So this is the thing. So two things. So first of all, I'm going to South America and Central America. I'm going to go to Panama, and then which Copa Airlines allows you to do a free layover if you want. So if you want to go to Panama for the day or whatever, you can do that with no extra cost.
Oh, cool.
So we're going to do that. Then I'm going to go to Ecuador and go to the Galapagos Islands.
Oh my God.
Uh-huh.
What?
And
This is a very different trip.
Yeah. And I'm doing a hack on like how to go to the Galapagos Islands without having to spend 10 grand on a cruise. I'm doing it like in a cheap way.
Just gonna swim from the mainland.
Yeah. Dude, exactly. No. So anyway, that'll be cool. But it's funny. The night before I ended up canceling Uzbekistan, I was in bed with Hillary having a ton of FOMO that I wasn't going to
Okay.
be going to this wedding with her in Nashville, and realizing I'm going to be gone for like 15 days. And I'm like, this sucks. Like, I don't want to be gone from you for 15 days, you know? But it's amazing how the grass is greener thing is so applicable to everything. Because I woke up in the morning, had to cancel the trip, and immediately was just completely bummed about having to cancel the trip
Yeah.
and not excited
Fuck
that I
this
now get to
wedding.
spend more time with Hillary, you know?
Yeah.
Which is just it's stupid. You know what I mean? Like it's a way that humans tend to be. And I urge you all to try to remember that the thing you have is better than you think.
Yeah.
And the thing you're missing out on is not as good as you
A
think.
bird in the hand is worth two in the bush.
There it is, folks.
And I also think it's important to know that like you have the ability to make a wedding in Nashville more fun than a trip to Uzbekistan.
Dude, it's going to be great.
It's
I have
just a
friends
matter
there.
of
I'm
how
excited
much,
about Nashville.
you know, how much conviction you bring.
Totally.
Can I finish the wedding criteria list? Because I
Please.
finally got it. So
Love
it's criteria to attend a wedding must say yes to at least 3 of the following. Number 1, has the person who invited you played a role in your life? Number 2, do you admire the bride and groom as a couple? Number 3, do you like the guest list? Number 4, is it rare that you see the guests or wedding party? Number 5, will it be a cool party?
Number 6, is your girlfriend going to be pissed at you if you don't go?
That's probably one too.
Let's add that, because for one of the ones, like I can't check off any of those for some of these weddings.
Not one?
Wait, what, can you read them one more time? Sorry.
It's okay.
I
think people will like this. And by the way, this is my friend. I did not make this up. I'm not going to say his name for the sake of protecting him, but I think it's a pretty good list. You have to say yes to at least 3 of the following things. Number 1, has the person who invited you played a role in your life? Do you admire the bride and groom as a couple? Do you like the guest list? Is it rare that you see the guests or wedding party? Will it be a cool party?
Right. For some of these, I can't, like, okay.
Not one?
So the Nashville is going to be great. No questions there. I'm excited for that one. Great. Honestly, most of these are going to be great, but now it's like more are starting to come into the mix, and there are some that I can't check any of those.
Oh,
but
wow.
Will going make my girlfriend extremely happy, and will we have fun together? Yes. That to me is a valuable enough thing to go once, especially if it's nearby or something. You know what I mean?
Sure.
But I think that's great criteria.
Sure. Yes. It's tough. Weddings are a big ask.
Yeah.
But
they typically are fun. And dude, to be honest, I love weddings. I love weddings in general. I love seeing how they do it. I like going to this different spots. I like doing all the stuff. Meeting people can be fun. You know, it kind of just like depends.
yeah.
Whatever. Okay. Well, I have a very interesting and funny question
Please.
for you. So I got into a fight with Hillary.
Uh-oh.
We're actually, as we recorded this, we're in a fight.
Oh no.
I'm upset with her.
Oh,
And tell me
boy.
what you think. So the other night, I'm chill. So she went to dinner or whatever. I'm chilling with one of my friends, smoking some weed, right?
Nice.
Hi. And she always says that when I smoke weed, I start to really sound like a brain dead Cali bro. I'll be like, yeah, what's up?
Yeah.
Like I really actually start talking like that in a way where I'm just like, who cares if I'm like, can you stop fucking analyzing me? Anyway, I'm in that state. And she texts me and she's like, hey, oh my God, one of my friends, boyfriend's business partners listens to your pod. It's like one of her really good friends too. She's like, it would be so funny. Like, can we FaceTime them later? Like he'd get a kick out of it. And I was like, yeah, absolutely. Great. You know, no problem. She comes back and I'm like very high. And as we're FaceTiming, she sort of decides that I'm too high to talk to him.
Oh boy.
And then like, essentially like, doesn't let me talk to him. She's like, you weren't saying anything. And when she got up the phone, I was like, were you not going to let, and my friend was here and witnessed the whole thing. And she's like, I was like, why did you decide that I was too high? She's like, you weren't even talking. I'm like, you don't get to decide like the way that I present myself. You know what I mean? Like he doesn't know what I'm like. I mean, he listens to the pod all the time, so he has an idea, but he's not going to be like, oh, I was so disappointed. He was so stoned. He's not at my show. He's not, you know what I mean? Like I was upset. I'm like, you asked me to talk to somebody. I was happy to do it. Why do you then decide that I'm too stoned to do it? And we don't even discuss this. You just decide I'm too stoned. And now I don't end up talking to this guy.
Okay. Lots to unpack.
Yeah.
Here. So there is a piece that you said that I have learned is not entirely the true anymore.
Which is what?
When you said that your girlfriend does not get to decide how you present yourself.
All right.
Okay. I have been the recipient of so many moments of my girlfriend pushing my hair out of my forehead or picking a piece of lettuce out of my teeth or wiping a stain off my shirt, which at first I remember thinking like, what does it matter? You know, I am who I am. You know what you signed up for. But these minor adjustments, these tune-ups matter to them because we are an extension of their brand.
Right.
They are presenting us.
Right.
We are their debutante ball throughout life. And they're proud of us in many ways, just as we are proud of them.
I agreed.
And I'm sure that whereas you thought, oh, this guy's a fan, he knows me, he knows I'm a chill dude, I'm just going to say hi, this will be fun. She may have thought, this guy's opinion of my boyfriend matters. I want her to meet the best version of Giulio that I know.
Mhm.
And you, without her knowing, you weren't operating at 100%. Your eyes may have been bloodshot.
I don't care though. And this is the thing. This is what's important about this is that this isn't her thing. This is my thing, is what I would argue. He wants to talk to me.
But she knows him too.
No, she knows him through them and through them. If you think I'm unpresentable, then don't fucking call him. Then let's not do this call.
She may not. Okay, so then the answer to that would be you might have tipped her off and said, just so you know, I've been smoking weed. And then
she
let
could tell.
her.
When we got back, the house smelled like weed. I was fucking,
So she had seen you, the
Yes.
state you were in, and still made the call
Correct.
to connect you guys.
Correct. Yes. And dude, it's funny. He actually messaged us today. I don't know if you saw this.
I did
DM.
see that. Yeah.
And I replied to the message passive aggressive, not really passive aggressively, but like if he knew that I was pissed at her, this would be funny to him. But he kind of like said, hi, congratulations, 200 episodes. Really nice of him. And then I said, dude, thank you. Would have liked to chat more, but Hillary decided that I was too stoned to talk to you.
Oh boy.
Not sure why, but
You're-
I'm sure we will hang soon.
You are, boy, I love. Okay.
That was unnecessary of me. But
No, I dig it. I dig it. Listen, man, look, there are trade-offs. You know, there are times where we are simply ornaments, and we have to accept that.
But dude, you know what? I think that
And that's going to be the case, by the way, for a lot of those weddings that you're talking about. You're going to be
that's different.
You're going to be the flashy bangle upon her wrist.
Now, that's if we're entering a situation where it's her jurisdiction, she's allowed to have a little bit more say about how I dress. I'm not going to show up wearing a fucking sweatsuit
No.
to a black. I'm not going to be unreasonable.
Will you moderate your drinking? Is the question, or
I don't-
your weed consumption?
So I'm not going to smoke for a wedding. You know what I mean? It was a Tuesday night.
No, I
I was
know.
in my underwear. I wasn't expecting to have to meet and greet.
I know.
Meet and greets.
I guess my question is, for a wedding that is in her jurisdiction, will you be very aware of needing to stay on top of your game?
I don't know that I need to.
'Cause you're pretty at
handle
the
myself-
top of your game when you're fucked up. I've been around you. You're a good drunk.
I'm a good drunk, I think.
You're
too. I
not
appreciate
you're
that.
not a mess.
I'm not annoying. I don't get really sweaty or anything. Like I'm presentable.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be stoned for a wedding where I have to meet a bunch of new people and
Right.
stuff, obviously. But that's not to say that I couldn't handle it. I just wouldn't enjoy it.
Mhm.
Now, talking to this guy who loves the pod and is like, "Oh, dude, that's so funny," whatever. Like, I don't understand why she decides. I think she decides unfairly that I'm not presentable if I'm high.
Mhm, mhm.
What I'm a little more chill. What I'm comfortable having silences. Like, I'm sorry if this makes you uncomfortable. It does not make me uncomfortable. And you don't get to dictate the way that I present myself to people where it has nothing to do with you.
I feel almost like she needs to be here because right now I feel like I'm a marriage counselor treating one patient at a time. What have you had this conversation?
This is a
with
fair.
her?
This is a fair. That's a fair thing of you to say, and I'm sure that if she happens to listen to this episode, she will appreciate that. And yes, I've said some version of that, but you know how it goes.
What did she say?
I don't know. Like I can't. She's like, well, you weren't saying anything, and I'm like, well, you didn't give me the chance to say anything because you just moved the phone to you and wouldn't let me talk, which was annoying. However, it was one of those things where I sort of let it go. It came up again somehow. The friend who was over the night that it happened was over again, and it kind of like reopened the wound. And I realized that I was annoyed about it. And then I told her I was annoyed about it, which just made her annoyed at me. By being annoyed, she then was annoyed at me.
Was she annoyed at you for being annoyed, or was she annoyed at you for sharing that you were annoyed in front of her friend?
She was annoyed that I was annoyed. It wasn't in front of her friend. It was my friend.
Oh, your friend. Well, either way, airing it
Doesn't
out in
matter.
front
No,
of somebody
she
else.
wasn't upset about that. She was upset that I was upset. And then that's where we stand.
Mhm.
Has yet to be resolved.
Okay. All right.
So we'll see.
Well, keep us updated. This is an interesting one. I endeavor to take her side just so she's represented.
Mhm.
And
She'll appreciate that.
well, I know her and she's a very reasonable person.
I would agree. She typically is.
So,
But I think like, again, it's
it
her
is
being,
possible.
her being self-conscious. This sort of idea of like, I need to be presentable. I need to like be likable. I need for people to like me, whatever. Maybe this idea, like, don't put that on me. If I'm not concerned about that, don't make me that. Don't make me you. And this is relationship advice in general to people. Don't start making your partner into you. Let them be themselves.
Okay, but and believe me, I know that when we started this podcast, I used to have rants like yours every episode. And again, I don't mean to sound hypocritical. Let's just say that I'm playing devil's advocate, and I don't whatever, because I know that I'm guilty of what you're saying too many times. There has to be some acknowledgement of sort of coming to the middle together.
Mm-hmm.
So don't make me you, right? I'm not a piece of Play-Doh. I can't be molded into your perfect image of a boyfriend. You know, I am who I am. I must stay true to some of my whatever mannerisms and who I am, and that's who you fell in love with, and you need to accept certain things.
Mm-hmm.
That's true, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think every relationship sometimes, well, there's usually somebody who does more of the molding and someone who does more of the accepting of being molded, right?
Right.
And the successful relationships are the ones where neither party goes beyond what is the comfort zone for that, what your capacity is for being molded, or for accepting someone's shortcomings.
Mm-hmm. And dude, listen, I'm reasonable. I, of course, compromise. I am willing to change things. If she's unhappy with something, I will happily change. If it's, of course there is a boundary of to what is and is unacceptable.
Agreed. And that's why I'm not worried about what you're saying, which is that you very rarely, if ever, put your foot down and say like, I had an issue with this, and you're very giving and sort of, I think, easygoing. You're willing
Mm-hmm.
to say like, I'll do this.
Sure.
Yeah, sure. I'll come to this. I'll wear whatever. In my life, I have been in a number of relationships where people have tried to mold me, and I would just immediately push back.
Mm-hmm.
And I became obstinate, and you almost feel yourself rebelling, almost like, you want me to wear that? All right, well then I'm going to show up wearing a fucking tire.
Right.
You go as far in the opposite direction as if to fight back, which is petulant and creates further rift, and then you break up, and they say that dating you was a nightmare, and you say dating them was a nightmare, and that's why things end poorly. I have learned that the women that I have had successful relationships with were women who were very accepting of me, because I am not easy to date. I'm not someone who sculpts easily. I'm not malleable, right?
Mm-hmm.
And fortunately, there are people out there like my girlfriend who can love me for me.
Yeah.
And I think that that's something you have to find if you're not willing to budge. You budge.
I budge.
A lot.
I budge.
You're a budger.
I budge.
Yeah. I think I'm sort of reiterating the same point at this point, but it's a give and a take, and it's weird too, because you would never say to a girlfriend like, "Are you really wearing that out tonight?"
Never.
Right?
And dude, you know what?
Men don't say that.
If she says that to me, I'll look in the mirror and be like, "Okay, what should I wear?" I trust her on that.
Yeah.
But don't like punish me for being comfortable in my own skin. If I want to sit there in silence, I'm not going to just sit there and stare at the guy. If I have a moment where I want to pause and that's okay. Let me do that.
I think if you had this conversation with her, she would come to your side. I do. I think knowing her as I do, I don't think she would die on this hill.
Yeah, I agree.
Of being like, you were too high. You're not aware of how high you were, whatever.
Dude, absolutely.
She wouldn't say like you were embarrassing yourself or.
No, I think that like, I don't know, maybe she is surprised that I'm taking so strong of a stance. So maybe her initial reaction is sort of to like put the fucking dukes up.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure that I don't anticipate this not being resolved before the sun goes down tonight.
Good.
You know, it's the afternoon right now when we're recording. It's not going to be a big deal. But it's just one of those little things. It's amazing how like little things can turn into such a thing. Fortunately, we don't have a ton of kind of like resentment, and this isn't going to like start some chain reaction of other grievances. Like we really don't bicker that often.
No, I never see you guys fight.
And I hope that people don't get the wrong idea because I'm fucking
no, man,
airing this out on the pod.
It's very good to hear you react and sort of find something that struck a chord with you. So, you know, she may have seen it as a simple, like, you know, she might have even just been fucking around with you.
I don't think so. She never actually said it. Like I saw what she was doing and sort of decided to let it go. And then when my boy said something, I was like, okay, I'm not just high. I'm not just like being high and not,
dude, everybody dislikes that. Men and women alike do not like to be felt as if they are being, you know, being told to take a sip of water or, you know, why don't you go for a walk or why don't you, you know, you feel like you're being patronized.
Yes.
And nobody wants that. Nobody wants that, especially when they're having a good time. But I do believe that Hill Dog, knowing her as I know her, would be very reasonable in her response to this. And you know, I wish she were here. I wish she were here to sort of go back and forth with you on it.
I know. That would be interesting.
What if she was just like, you didn't even know this, but you had your dick out of your pants the whole time?
Dude, I have real, and you know, said every person in a fight ever, but I have trouble imagining what point she would make that would make me sort of like back down on this specific issue. In general, I am very reasonable. I can discuss, I can talk, I can come to a middle ground. I'm struggling with this particular.
But you do know that you will have to back down to some degree. Let's say that she offers an 80% apology and then you give her 20% back and acknowledge like, you know what, maybe I was a little tuned up.
Here's my question though. What would I be apologizing for?
Dude, simply for the sake of burying it.
Right. But again, I mean, I would, you know.
Nobody should be made to feel 100% conquered.
I'd be willing to take a half-assed apology from her. For sure.
Would you say anything conciliatory back?
I'm not sure. Like
So your response would be, I accept your apology.
I think so.
Wow.
In this particular situation.
Bro, that's cold.
In this particular situation,
when someone just says, I accept your apology, or even, I mean, I guess I thank you for apologizing is fine. That is that is them saying like, yep, you were 100% at fault.
Dude, I just take things like this as like an attack on my existence in a way that I can potentially lead to like a slippery slope of like checks and balances and tweaking and this like faux improvement. And like it's not going to happen. She's not like that. You know what I mean? But in general, this type of thing, maybe it like strikes a chord with me and like brings up something from my past, but I just think it's a dangerous thing.
Interesting.
It needs to be nipped in the bud.
Okay. So we're in a very interesting territory here. Because I know how you feel.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely do. And when we were early on in our dating, she would share things with me that she thought that I could improve or change without really probably knowing how sort of thin my rope was in terms of taking notes.
Right.
I hate to say this, we as comedians hate taking notes. The only people that we will ever allow to give us notes on our act, on our humor, whatever, are comedians who are so far ahead of us,
right,
that we feel blessed to be receiving their tutelage at all. Like if Dave Chappelle gave me a note, I would eat that shit up.
Can I ask you a question? I started saying tutelage this weekend just because like I was saying totally, and then I started saying tutelage, totally tutelage, and I was like, "What does tutelage mean?" And it's funny that you just use that.
It's someone's teaching.
Got it.
It's
okay.
like to receive your tutelage is to receive your knowledge.
Got it. Okay. Tutelage.
Yeah. I've had a couple good words this episode, I think.
I'm sure.
I said one earlier, and after I said it, I was like, Stuck the landing on that one. Okay. All right. I know that's obnoxious, but we don't like receiving notes. We're just a very, I don't know, who knows? It's some combination of narcissism and stubbornness and all of that. It's why we do this very individual pursuit, stand up, as opposed to, say, improv, which is team based and, all that bullshit. So when you receive notes from people, girlfriends, whatever, as we did early on, I had some big reactions to it, and she quickly realized that she had to deliver the message in gentler terms. But by doing that, she also instilled some new coding in my DNA, in my script, let's call it, that whether I realized it or not, in adopting those things, it improved me. She taught me some things and gave me some notes that, whether I admit it or not, were definite improvements.
Totally. And dude, me too. There are things that I've learned from my girlfriend that are either things that she taught me directly or that I've picked up from her that have made me a significantly better person.
Yeah.
There's no denying that. And it's a great thing about a good relationship.
So you're capable of receiving notes from her. It's just there are certain areas where you are a little bit more sensitive.
Yeah.
And clearly being presentable, or
don't tell me how to talk to people.
Is that it? That's what it is?
Maybe that's part of that. Maybe that's part of it. I don't care if they don't like me. I'm not I would argue, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, that I'm generally a reasonably likable person.
You're the most well-liked. You're one of the most well-liked people I know.
Thank you. I appreciate that's very nice.
That's true.
That's very nice.
There's nobody that has a bad thing to say about Giulio ever.
I hope that's true, and that's very nice of you to say. But if something that I'm doing makes you uncomfortable, maybe there's a chance that that's something you need to deal with as well, instead of telling me to change how I'm behaving or whatever.
Interesting.
You know what I mean? Maybe not. Maybe there's more to this, and this isn't a thing that's consistently happening. It's not a recurring theme. This is pretty much specifically the instance that I can think of. And then maybe every once in a while, if I'm in a group setting and I'm not talking, she's like, "Why aren't you talking?" I'm like, "I have nothing to say. I don't know." You know what I mean?
Let me ask you this. Let's say that we were playing psychotherapist here. And I said, is there an event or a past relationship which made you so sensitive to this issue? Could you track through?
Yeah, and I'll tell you what it is.
Your past.
It's not that specific, but it's one of these things where I've felt in the past duped into doing what I thought the girl that I liked wanted me to do, and in doing that, I just kind of lost myself, and thus lost my ability to keep them interested in me, and it sort of turned into this kind of me falling for some bait, and then taking it and then having it ruin everything. And granted, there's more to it than that. I think relationships just take their course sometimes, and there's no way to sort of chase the dragon with how things were when you first met someone. It's like the first time you do a drug, it's never going to be that good again. You know what I mean? So there's that too. But there are these times where I felt these girls that I was dating, I thought that they wanted me to be a certain way, and even if maybe they actively were trying to make me be a certain way. And by not pushing back, I ended up kind of losing myself, and thus the relationship ending, and then I feeling like I had nothing.
Yeah.
Because I don't even know who I am anymore, and I don't now. The girl's gone, and I need her. I'm like a fungus. I've grown on this person and depend on their reactions and their opinions for everything about my own identity.
Boy. That is an impressive self-evaluation, and sad.
I know, man.
It's quite tragic.
It was tough. I had some tough ones.
I think everybody can relate to that, though. We've all lost ourselves at some point in thinking that by changing who we were, we might appease the person that we liked very much.
And another thing, man, I've seen how well in our industry people who are unapologetically themselves do.
Okay.
And maybe that's part of it too. Maybe, but again, these are all sort of indirect influences, perhaps, for why I'm reacting so severely to this.
I would urge you to separate the world of love and your personal life from connecting it to success in comedy, because I don't know that comedy is a good guide or model for life and success in love.
Fine, fair.
In fact, I try as hard as I can to keep the two separate.
But like your point of view, the things you write about, the things you think about, these are all an extension of the way you live your life and stuff.
I certainly draw from my personal life for inspiration, but as I've said before, if I feel something at a 2, I present it at an 8.
Mm-hmm.
And it's certainly not great to, what you're presenting at an 8 in comedy to then present at an 8 in your personal life.
No, totally. But I think that like, I don't know. Like, I don't know that I even necessarily do that. Like, I don't know if I don't know.
Look, yeah, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. And listen, I this has been a very thought-provoking episode for me, and I think it's great to see you a little ruffled. It's great. It's raw.
Only took 200 episodes.
I know. No, and it's awesome. And I'd love to hear an update. I guarantee that by the next episode, you two you'll be like, I don't even remember fucking talking about that.
Right,
like we
right.
solved that instantly. But it is good, and I think that there may be some lessons worth extricating from what we've said. Mainly, that by fully changing who you are to appease whatever you think your significant other wants or thinks of you is never really going to work in the long term. You can't just fake it all the way.
Right. And honestly, there's a way, I think the healthy way to do it is to take it the way that you take feedback. If you write a script and you send it to somebody, what do you think about this? Just because they don't like it doesn't mean that you need to not like it now. Like, you can pick and choose which notes you would like to take.
Yeah.
And I know the ones that I'm willing to take, and I'm learning which ones maybe I'm not learning to take. And maybe the ones that I'm not willing to take, I should learn to take them, and maybe I shouldn't. And this is all it's like a process, maybe, or something.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
No, I agree.
But I think that there is a way to kind of hear what your partner is saying and think about it through your whatever and decide how you want to take it.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Well, fun stuff. Listen, send in any thoughts you have or stories you have about somebody who wanted you to totally change who you were and whether you did it and whether it worked or how it didn't work. Those are interesting, I think, life-defining moments. We're Oops the Podcast. Send thoughts to oopsthepodcast@gmail.com. Buy some Brooklyn Roasting coffee. Oops Beans, 5% off, brooklynroasting.com. Giulio is not Julio with a J on Instagram. I'm Francis C.C. Ellis. That's it, everybody. Thank you so much. We love you. See you soon.